Hi, Professor Angela Rasmussen here, and today is going to be a review in preparation for Exam 2. So we're going to go over capacitors, inductors, first order solutions, sinusoids, and complex numbers. And the quiz for today, the password, all small, is going to be review. Again, all small letters, review will be the password for the quiz today. So Exam 2, so the topics for the exam, which will be next Wednesday, is going to be understanding capacitors and inductors, RC and RL circuit analysis, understanding an AC signal and identifying between AC and DC portions, along with writing the mathematical expression for it, using complex math to be able to put into expressions, manipulate, add, subtract, multiply, divide, and then select whether you're putting it in rectangular form, which is also called Cartesian form or polar form, and then being able to transform a signal into that phasor form, which phasor is a polar form. So the first example that we are going to go over is writing the mathematical expression. Actually, let me do the review portion first. So capacitor acts like an open circuit. When it's been sitting there for a long time, again, the dV/dt goes to 0, means that I goes to 0. So that's going to open or act like an open circuit because no current flows in an open circuit. And then right at the time of a change, you're going to act like a voltage source. And the value of the voltage source, so this is at change, and that value is going to be the value right before the change. And this is for a capacitor. For the inductor, that dI/dt has been sitting there a long time, so that goes to 0, which means your voltage goes to 0, which looks like a short circuit. And so this is long time. And then it will act like a current source at the change time. And the value of this will be the value right before the change happens. So the general form solution for both is whatever variable you're trying to find in the circuit, you're going to take the final time value of it, the initial time value, and the final minus the final, and that quantity is e to the minus t over tau. Remember, tau is that time constant, and that time constant shows us how long it takes to go from that initial time to the final time. And at 63% of it will be when that tau value is. So that's over halfway there at one time constant. For the time constants, for capacitor, you're going to have that resistance that the capacitor sees, RTH times C. And for an inductor, you're going to have the inductance over that RTH. So each of these is RTH, and RTH means the resistance that the element sees itself. Other summary is to change from rectangular to polar. Remember, this is the rectangular form. You have a real component. This is the real component and the imaginary component. And remember, we use the J instead of imaginary just because we use I for current instead. So we use J variable. That is going to denote what is the imaginary portion of a rectangular coordinate. For the polar coordinate, you have the magnitude, which is z in this, the magnitude of z, e raised to the j theta, and theta is going to be your angle. The other way you can write this is z magnitude and then a big angle sign, and then that value will be theta. So there are two ways to write the same thing for polar coordinates. To translate between them, you have these equations. So from rectangular to polar, if you're going in this direction, you take the value of the magnitude of z, and for the x1 it's cosine theta, for the imaginary part it's sine theta. If you're going the other way, going from polar, oh sorry, I said that backwards. So polar to rectangular are these. And then if you're going from rectangular to polar, you're going to take the imaginary squared plus the real squared and square root it, and then you take the inverse tangent, imaginary over real, to get the polar theta. So the other properties that are very important to remember is, it highlighted these, that j is equal to EJ 90 degrees or pi over halves, and then a -1 is 180 degrees, so it's going to be EJ pi or EJ minus pi. And then, not this one, this minus j is the other one that is very important. Minus j is EJ to the minus 90 degrees or E minus j 90, or pi over 2. Also, making sure that conversion from sine to cosine, so remember for the analysis we're always going to want to put them into cosine form. And so if you analyze a circuit, you grab a screenshot of an oscilloscope and you interpret that with a sine, you're going to want to change it to cosine. And so the conversion is a plus sign goes to cosine by minus 90, and a minus sign goes to a plus 90. All right, then in the sinusoids, you need to understand what amplitude is, what omega, that omega is the default value, and that omega is equal to 2 pi f, where f is found from the time period, and then theta is going to be the shift in comparison to a reference value. And we went through finding theta given the different form or different signs compared to that input value. So theta, which wasn't in here, so, or phi, this one is phi. So phi to differentiate from theta, which is the one above, they are the same angle. So theta or phi mean the same thing. And remember, they're 2 pi f times that shift in delta t between the reference and then the output signal. So that is how you find phi or theta. So on this handout, I have provided, Neil Cotter had a nice step-by-step procedure that you can go through and see if this is something that helps you. So these are in the notes to go through. It's exactly what I've done in the past for the examples. So this is the summary of what is going to be on the exam. So I encourage you to move forward in the notes and be able to now go through, try and solve as many problems as you can, and then watch the videos to see the solutions or look at the notes to see if you did it correctly. If not, you can watch the video solutions. Thanks.